Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the week of February 18th through 24th. Today is Saturday, February 24th. So this week, it's a bunch of the same old, same old. Work is just getting a bit more stressful. It got a bit more stressful this week. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot. I figured out that I've been working basically the equivalent of one extra day with all of the overtime that I've been doing, and I don't get paid for overtime. I'm salaried, and so overtime doesn't count really. It's a lot, and I'm feeling really worn out. And so, yeah, I've also noticed that my reading has been a lot slower this month than it was in January, and even slower than December. And I think I just need to embrace my pace. It's something that I heard from one of the knitting podcasts that I watched, the Knit 365 blog hosted by Martin. He talks about embracing his pace when he was talking about knitting the Stephen West knit along. This past year and the year prior, I think is when he started to talk about that phrase, and I think I just need to take that into consideration with what's going on in my work life right now. And so yeah, we'll get more into more of that at the end of the video. But I did manage to finish a few things as far as reading goes. We did have our Monochrome Manga Club meeting at the store this week, and so I had to finish the Monochrome Manga Club selections. I did finish one extra book this week, so I'll let you know my thoughts on that. And that means that I'm not in the middle of anything, and so I guess we'll just get started. And so I just finished filming my first impressions video for the two first in this series selections for the Monochrome Manga Club, so that should be out by the time you're seeing this video. We read Volume 1 of Love's Insight by Uoyama, published by Viz Rated Teen, and then Volume 1 of I'm in Love with the Villainess, art by Anoshimo, story by Inori, and character design by Hanagata. This one's published by 7 Seas Rated Teen. I'll tell you I gave Love's Insight 4 stars, I gave I'm in Love with the Villainess 3 stars. And if you'd like to hear more of my thoughts on both of those volumes, you can check out the First Impressions video, which I've linked down in the description box below. What I will share with you are my thoughts on our series reads. So let's start with Fullmetal Alchemist, since I have a physical copy here. We finished Fullmetal Alchemist, volumes 25, 26, and 27. This is volume 9 of the 3-in-1 edition by Hiromu Arakawa, published by Viz Rated Teen. This is the story about Ed and Al trying to fix a mistake that they made when they were kids, and along the way they have uncovered a conspiracy and have met other people that are helping to fight against that conspiracy. And I really enjoyed this read through. It's the first time for me reading through the actual source material, but like I've said many times before, I've watched both anime adaptations and really enjoyed them. I do feel like the anime adaptation, the ending part of Brotherhood, does a better job of kind of giving a more closed feeling to this story than seeing it on page does. I definitely feel like because you have that motion, you're able to show a bit more, and it kind of helps for that feeling of closure, at least for me, with this series. Nonetheless, the ending of this series was very good. I really enjoyed this entire series. On a whole, I give this series 4 stars. I gave this volume 4 stars. Very, very good. I will definitely reread this series again in the future. I will definitely rewatch the anime adaptations again in the future. Highly recommend this series, and I really enjoyed this one. So the other 2 things that we read for the Monochrome Manga Club were volumes 3 and 4 of Assassination Classroom by Yusei Matsui, published by Viz Rated Older Teen. So this we are reading on the Shonen Jump app, so I don't actually have physical copies, but I really enjoyed these volumes. I remembered quite a bit again from our watch through of what I've watched of the anime. I never did finish the anime, but I remember things that happened in this one. Volume 3 has sexual assault that's kind of planned but never happens. And then there is a scene where you have a teacher kissing a student. I should say French kissing a student. And so I do consider that sexual assault. And so, yeah. Other than that, I enjoyed what happened in these volumes. I don't know that I can say anything more because, like I said, I've seen most of the anime, and I don't want to give away any spoilers. I do enjoy like seeing the kids and how they react to what Koro Sensei is teaching them, how they're reacting to some other things, and like meeting new people, and how those people coming in to basically add on to the attempts at assassinating Koro Sensei, because he's, you know, planning on destroying the entire planet if he's not assassinated. There are a couple of characters that get introduced in this volume, or volumes 3 and 4. 3 and 4? Or was it just volume 4? See, without having the like physical copies, I have no sense of where things stop and things, but it must be 3 and 4. That we get 2 new students to the class, and seeing the way that the kids react to these 2 new students was interesting, because it's not like how I think you'd expect the kids to react. Like, I can't really tell you anything because I don't want to give away any spoilers, but yeah, you definitely see how Koro Sensei is already making a difference in these kids' lives and things like that. And there's a scene, I think it was in volume 3, where they go to Hawaii. And in looking at like the layout of the place that they had visited, I kept trying to think, okay, where might this be? And it's got to be an outer island, because I didn't like recognize the building that they were showing, and the like area was very bare. Now, I grew up on Oahu, so that's where I'm very familiar with, and there's not a lot of like bare land there. So I don't know if the mangaka drew from personal experience, or if they're taking like a reference from maybe when Hawaii wasn't as developed, like a really old photo for reference or something like that, or if it's from an experience they had at an outer island. I would say if it was an experience that they had more recent to when they created the scenes in the manga, probably an outer island, because the outer islands are much less developed. And I always tell people, if they want like the more like, you know, relaxed kind of rustic experience, they should go to an outer island, because it's much more laid back. It's much of a slower life kind of feel, as opposed to going to Oahu, where it's much more city-like. It's much more like on the go. There's lots of things to do and things like that. At least that's kind of my impression of the islands from being someone who grew up there and grew up on Oahu. That's kind of how I see the outer islands. I've been to Kauai and the Big Island and Maui, and they are definitely much more laid back. There's a lot more green area and things like that. And so, yeah, I'm very curious to know like where the mangaka picked up inspiration for that scene. But it was nice to see them visit Hawaii, and so that was enjoyable. And I enjoyed these 2 volumes, 4 stars again. And so, yeah. Actually, speaking of Fullmetal, it actually rated up as 4.5 on Cawpile, and so, yeah. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with Cawpile. I have been rating the books that I've read since I talked to you last about the books that I finished then into Cawpile, and they did end up what I told you my gut reactions were, so maybe it is more spot on as far as the rating goes than I'm thinking it is. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I finished for the Monochrome Manga Club, and then I just finished one more book very early this morning, and that was episode 13 by Craig DiLouie. So I was listening to this on audiobook during my lunch break. This was my lunchtime read. I did decide to finish it up via ebook copy because I also had one of those borrowed from the library. Just to see what the difference was in the audiobook and how the story's presented in that with the full cast narration, and how I felt about reading it physically without having all of the different voices and the acting and things like that. And so I read the last about 20% via ebook, and I'm not sure that I would recommend reading the ebook when there's an audiobook available. I definitely think having the full cast narration is something that really helped with the presentation of the story. Like I said before, there are several scenes in the story where you have auditory things that are presented on the audiobook that I don't know if you're just reading the text, you could come up with that kind of thing in your mind, how effective what you imagine would be as opposed to what is being presented on the audiobook and things like that. So I definitely think that if you're going to read this one, that you should probably check out a copy of the audiobook instead of trying to read it physically. That being said, I did enjoy reading through the ebook copy. Like I said, I only read 20%. The story took a weird turn at the end, though. It was one that I wasn't expecting, or one that I didn't really see coming. But I didn't like the turn it took. So I ended up giving this one 3 stars on a whole. It was entertaining. Definitely got those Ghost Hunter vibes. If you like Ghost Hunters as a TV show, you'll probably enjoy this book. For the most part, I think the end, the turn it took, is very subjective on how you're going to take it. For me, it went in a direction that I didn't enjoy, and so that kind of reflects on my entire feeling of the book. The paranormal investigation is interesting, but it's not super horror-esque. If you're someone who's not into super scary stuff, I didn't find this book to be scary. It was more interesting. The phenomenons that they came across in the book were interesting, but I wouldn't say it was scary. There were definitely some things, I would say probably halfway through the book towards the end, that would be grotesque, but not necessarily scary. So it all depends on how your tolerance is for things like that. But on a whole, I would give this book 3 stars. It was entertaining. I liked it. I won't ever read it again, though. And I will definitely not be adding the audiobook to my collection, just for the mere fact that the end went in a direction that I did not enjoy. So, yeah, like I said, if you are interested in the Ghost Hunters TV show, I think you'd enjoy this book, or find it entertaining at least. If you like to watch Ryan and Shane from the Watcher channel, or BuzzFeed Unsolved, Supernatural, which they previously hosted before they were on Watcher, I'd say definitely give this one a go. But yeah, I was very disappointed with the way that the story ended up taking. And I'm a little bit confused with one of the things that happened at the end, but I think I've kind of figured out what I think happened, and I'm okay with how I'm thinking this particular thing wrapped up. So yeah, 3 stars. So that basically leaves me with only Reckless Magic, which I started weeks ago. This was my TBR game selection for Heard About on a Knitting podcast. I heard about this one on the Needles at the Ready podcast, and I had to stop reading it after listening to one chapter in the prologue because my audiobook for Mark of Athena had come in, which I had already put on hiatus. So I don't plan on trying Mark of Athena until April or later, just so that you know, because of March Mystery Madness. But I do want to at least, you know, get further into, if not finish, Reckless Magic before March. So I've got most of this upcoming week to read some more from it. And I had planned on trying to read a little bit of it last night after I had finished episode 13. But I just was too tired. So there's that. So yeah, that's my plan for this week, is to get more into Reckless Magic. I'm going to combo read it. So I'm going to listen to the audiobook during my lunch break and then read physically in the evenings. And I think that will definitely help me get through it, hopefully by the end of February. So that's everything that I have read for this week. And that brings us to another Yarnie update. So this week I've got a new project on the needles. So I've got a new cast on. My mom actually asked me to knit her a cardigan. And so this is something that I always planned on. If you remember, a few March Mystery Madnesses back, I did start a cardigan for my mom. I was knitting the pajama cardigan. Don't remember who the designer is, but I'll pop it down here. That's a cardigan that's knit into pieces, and then you need to sew it all together. That was not something that I was really looking forward to. And in fact, I had mentioned that I was going to make my mom sew all the pieces together. Her cardigan, she can sew it together. But I haven't touched it in years. And I think part of it was there was a lot of plain knitting and then knitting the panels and stuff. And I just wasn't into it. I didn't feel the want to go back to that project. And even when I was talking to my mom and she wanted to make me her a cardigan, I had thought about this and I was like, I already have one on the needles for you. In fact, I had done the full back panel. I had done one full front panel, and I was 3/4 of the way done with the second full panel, which would have meant that I only needed to finish that one panel and then do the 2 sleeves, and then she would seam everything together. But when I pulled it out, I was just, this is not calling to me. I don't want to continue this project. And so I had 2 options. I had what I had originally intended on making her as a cardigan as a replacement for the pajama cardigan. I had purchased her a sweater's quantity of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes yarn in the Midnight Heather colorway, which is the same colorway that I use for most of my Voyager sweater, which is the Moana inspired sweater that I had knit 2 years ago, I think, from Bad Wolf Girl Studios. And I had always intended on making her a Campside Cardie. Campside Cardie is by, again, designer on the bottom. I had made one for myself. You've seen me wear it several times. I have one in green. But I intended on making her one in blue, because I think the blue would be nice for her instead of a black and whatever. You know about knitting stuff in black, right? We've talked about it with my daughter's Pure Fuzz. And so I pulled it out and I showed it to her, and, you know, we were talking about it, and she just didn't want the fuss of having to take care of a 100% wool yarn that's non-superwash, and that's what the Wool of the Andes is. And, you know, that's fine. So I can use that yarn for myself to make me something else in the future, or even make me another Campside Cardie. So I went back to the pajama cardigan and looked at the yarn that I was using for it. And I was using a Lion Brand Pound of Love 2 skeins, one in gray and one in like a charcoal color. And so that's what I've got here. So since Pound of Love is acrylic, it's really easy care, and that works much better for her. And so what I'm doing is basically unraveling the pajama cardigan. So let me just pull this out and show you. This is the pajama cardigan that I had done the back panel. This is the back panel. And so I'm basically repurposing this yarn. So you can see that I haven't like unraveled and re-skeined or whatever, because I'm too lazy for that. To be honest, I'm too lazy. So I am basically just knitting off of the previous pieces like you would a sock blank, and then it'll work everything out itself as I soak it. At least that's what I'm planning to do. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It will be fine. So this is the panel that I'm working off right now. This is the front panel, and like I said, I'm just knitting it off like it was a sock blank. And so we decided on the Harvest cardigan by TinCanKnits. And so that's what I cast on. We are doing the size 3XL to give the appropriate amount of ease from my mom's measurements. And so this is what I have so far. This is the neckband. So this is the front side, and this is kind of what it looks like right now. So it's going to be like this with the neckband around the back side of the neck, and then this is how much I have so far. So I just finished the first set of 8 pattern repeats. So I finished that last night. Looks fine. I mean, it's a little weird, but like I said, I think it's going to work itself out when I soak it. So yeah, I am using metal needles this time. So metal needles, this is the Knitter's Pride, Melodies of Love, I think is the set that I bought. I thought the metal needles would work nicely with the acrylic. That is one of the problems that I had when I was previously using this yarn on the pajama cardigan, was I was using wooden needles. And the wooden needles, I think, gripped the acrylic too hard, and it was really making my hands hurt. So metal needles, size 8, which is the recommended needle size. I got gauge with the same size, and so yeah, just working away so far. And this is pretty much taking up my entire like knitting attention span at the moment, because I like when I start a project to get through all of the like increases and decreases and things, and get to the part of the project where it's just like back and forth mindless knitting. And so that's kind of what I'm doing right now. You will see that because I'm using 2 colors, I am like having to do a little bit of, I guess, intarsia. And so that's what I've got there, just making sure that I'm twisting the yarn every time I come to it so that there's no holes. I think I made a little bit of a mistake though, because I think the gray should have probably gone all the way through to the neckband on this side. But being that I have 1 skein of this dark charcoal color and 1 skein of this light gray color, I think it's called Oxford gray, the project needs to be half and half. So I actually think this is going to work out in my favor, because I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. I thought maybe I'd just do, you know, the gray until I ran out and then do a fade for the rest of the body of the sweater if I needed to. But doing the panel on the front panel in the dark charcoal is definitely going to help me use more of the dark charcoal color. And so maybe I won't have to fade. As it is right now, I think this sleeve, this is where the sleeve is right now, is going to be this gray color. And so if I need to fade in black at the bottom, or the dark charcoal at the bottom of the sleeve, that should be really nice. And so, yeah, that's what I got so far. So that's one sleeve. This is the other sleeve. And so this kind of looks like this right now. So my plan for the rest of this week is to get to the sleeve separation and then think about working on my rainbow ring again. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So Harvest Cardigan by TinCanKnits. It is a free pattern. I am using the TinCanKnits app. So if you haven't heard about the TinCanKnits app, the TinCanKnits app has several of their patterns already put into it. And basically, you start your pattern from within the app. You choose your size. And then instead of having to go through all of the different numbers for the size, it makes it really easy and just shows you how many stitches you need or how many repeats or things like that for the size that you are working on. So it makes it really, really easy. And it's got links to all of the tutorials. If you're not sure about something, you can just click on the link and it takes you to their website and right to the tutorial that you need. I'm very happy with the app right now. It's very easy, especially because I don't have to remember like what size I'm working on. And so, yeah, it's been really, really nice using the app. I highly recommend it. And they're constantly adding more of their patterns onto their app to be able to narrow down the instructions to just the size that you're working on. I know the love note was added a few months ago, I think, a few weeks ago. So I put in my love note onto that. So it'll be easier for me when I go back to doing my love note, which is another project that I'd really like to finish this year. And so, yeah, really happy with this so far. I think it's going to look really nice. And yes, it's acrylic, but like I said, easy care, easy wear, and it looks fine. It looks fine. It's functional, and we have no problems with having acrylic garments in this house. I have several bought sweaters that are acrylic, and they've held up for several years. I have some that are like decades old, and they still look great. And so, yes, very happy with this so far. And yeah, it's nice to like finally decide not to continue to work on a project and let it languish, and you know, repurpose the yarn for something that I'm happier knitting and something that my mom will get good wear out of. So as much as I like the look of this sweater, the seaming was something that turned me off. The gauge is really tight. I think this was a size 4 needle. And so that also didn't help the pain that I was getting when I was knitting this a few years ago. And yeah, it's just another something that I had languishing in a bag that I'm repurposing. So that's great. That's great. I'm very, very happy. Much happier working on this harvest than I was on the pajama cardigan. So I think all in all, good decision. And so, yeah, I haven't really worked on anything else. I definitely want to, you know, go through my languishing whips and pull things out to work on, to complete more of those projects. Because I know I have a lot, especially because I didn't put any work on a lot of them for a year or so. Really bad, really bad. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for the Yarnie update at the moment. And I guess that brings us to the life catch-up section. So, like I said, work's been very busy. I've been putting in a lot of overtime that I'm not getting paid for. My 21-year work anniversary is coming up next week. Yeah, March 3rd. March 3rd is my work anniversary. And I'm feeling burnt out. I'm putting in a lot of hours. I'm putting in a lot of work. I've got a lot of meetings, and it's just a lot. I'm having just days where I'm just like really worn out, And I think that's all contributing to, you know, my not reading as much and just not being able to relax as much. Even today, just getting to the filming, I had a lot to film today and I kind of didn't want to do it, if I'm honest. It just wanted to relax, you know, just wanted to relax. I had a massive headache this morning, and so that didn't help. And so, yeah, eventually I got here, though. I got all of my videos filmed. I filmed 4 videos today. And I'm just, like, not having an easy time with this, like, whole work transition and all of the changes that are happening at the moment. There's a lot. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of prep for those changes. And even though this is a change that we had made previously, that I was in charge of previously, doing it again this time around is, I don't know, it's different. It's more stressful. And I think it's because I'm not dealing with like the small business that we were coming from. It's a much larger change. And so, yeah, all of that is weighing. But, you know, just got to do what you got to do, right? And I'm surviving. There'll be time to rest and relax later, I guess. But I did get to do something fun this week. We did go to the manga club meeting, like I mentioned. I did a little bit of manga shopping while I was there. And then that evening we went to the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Road to the Hashira training. I think that's what the movie is called. At the theater. I haven't been to a theater in years. It's been years. I think the last time we went to a movie in the theater was in 2020. Yikes. I think it was 2020. Yeah, we used to go to the movies quite a bit. I have a membership at the local theater, and, you know, they used to have discount days, and we'd go, you know, get a $5 movie at the discount day and just have some fun. You know, it was really cheap entertainment, and 2020 hit, and, you know, things changed, right? And we haven't been to the theater since. But with this movie coming out, I thought it might be a good time to, you know, just go and see what it was like post 2020. And it was fun. It was fun. The theater we went to was new, and so it was like really like clean, and there were reclining chairs, and it was nice. It was really nice. The only thing is that somebody decided to reserve their chair right next to mine, so I wasn't too happy about that. I would have much rather preferred if they were like one chair down. And this particular theater, you do have to reserve your seats ahead of time. And the movie that we had gone to, the theater was practically empty. So there was no reason for this person to sit exactly right next to me. So that was a little bit irritating. Especially because when I had gone in to reserve the tickets, I was the only one that was reserved at the moment. So there was nobody else reserved in any of the chairs when I went to go buy the tickets. So, yeah, it was a bit irritating that somebody was sitting exactly right next to me when there was plenty of chairs to the right of them. So, anyway. In any case, we had such a good time. We're going to go to another movie in another couple weeks. So, while we were seeing the trailers for, you know, right before the movie starts, they're doing a special showing of Labyrinth with David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly. I've been wanting to rewatch Labyrinth since September, and I just haven't done it. And Labyrinth is one of my favorite movies. And so they're going to show it again at the theater. Just 2 nights they're doing it. So my daughter and I are going to go see Labyrinth in March at the theater. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited. It was a lot of fun to be back at the theater. And yeah, so a little bit of fun. I think also a little bit of like kind of a reward to myself for working at my job for 21 years, because when we go see the movie, it'll be after my work anniversary. And it's kind of in that space between my work anniversary and the anniversary of my grandfather's death. And I kind of always feel not the best in spirits during that time. And so I think it'll be a good thing to kind of take my mind off of all of that and kind of lift my spirits a little bit and congratulate myself for working at my job for 21 years. And so, yeah. That's pretty much everything that's happened with me this week. I didn't do any B-roll filming because, truth be told, manga shopping looks the same from, you know, December, when I think was the last time I took you manga shopping with me, to now. I mean, it's not any different, really. And I didn't purchase a lot. And I planned on taking some B-roll while we were at the theater, you know, like going into the theater and, like, showing you, like, one of the movie theater posters. But they didn't have a movie poster for this movie. And I was like, really? This theater also doesn't have the little, like, signs above the rooms where it tells you what movie is being shown in that room. And I don't know if that's just because they've had a lot of issues with people, like, you know, walking in without a ticket kind of thing. Like, maybe going to see, like, an extra movie after they've finished with theirs or whatever. But, yeah, this particular theater didn't have any of those signs that had the name of the movie that was going on in that room. So, yeah. I thought that was interesting. I'm not used to not having that sign. But it was a nice theater. I enjoyed it. And we'll be going to see another movie soon. So I think that's everything I have to say for this week. This is the last week before March Mystery Madness. So things are pretty busy with, you know, making sure that all of the announcements for host activities have been posted. And, you know, getting the live show and everything. If you're interested in any of the things that are happening, you can check out our Discord, March Mystery Madness Discord, or the March Mystery Madness Twitter. I've posted our schedule of events to both, as well as our Goodreads group. So if you're interested in anything, let me know. Or if you have any questions, also let me know. And I can direct you to the correct places. And yeah, so it's going to be a fun time with March Mystery Madness. And it's always a load of fun. I mean, March Mystery Madness is always a load of fun. And 9 is a good number for me. And this year is our 9th round. And everything is like related to 9. So I think it's going to be extra special this year. So I think that's where I'll leave you today. Let me know down in the comments below where you are with your reading for the month. Do you feel like you're on pace to where you normally are with your reading? Or are you a little bit more laid back in this month than you were at the beginning of the year? Let me know. Are you planning on participating in March Mystery Madness? If you are, let me know what you're planning to read for your TBR. If you're not, what other readathons are you planning to participate in March? I know there are several. So if you are planning on participating in a different one, let me know which one that is and what you're planning to read for that. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me that magnifying glass emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.